What's up, man? I'm making this video basically to show how to use your computer, your PC, whatever, as an external synth so you can use your favorite VSTs inside of your MPC in standalone. So basically what you're doing is you're taking the sound out of your computer and you're recording it in to your MPC the same exact way that you would if you had a Roland Phantom board, a Yamaha board, a rack synth, or whatever. So this is not really required, but this is a VST hosting application. And this one in particular is called Plugin Buddy. So what this does is it loads up the VSTs without you having to open up your whole DAW, like FL Studio or Studio One or whichever one you use. Now you can open them up and you can do the same thing, but for me personally, I just like doing this so I don't have to open that whole program up and do all that. So you can see here I have a Titan Extreme already selected. I just open this up and I click here to show the plugin itself. You don't have to do that, but you can do that so you can, mess with your parameters and all that. But when you first open this up, you're gonna have to scan your plugins and all that. It's gonna point you to your folder. You click on your settings, and this is where you want to kind of make sure that you have your MIDI selected. Well, your audio stuff, you want to make sure your audio stuff is right too. I have a older PreSonus audio box 1818 audio interface, and I have it going out of my output 3 and 4, and that's ran into the back of my MPC. It's kind of hard because I got it dark, but this is a TRS cable that's coming from my audio interface, and it's going into the input of my MPC. And I just got all these checked. You don't really need to check them all. You can just check the one that you need to, but this is my interface. You can use your audio interface. If your audio interface has MIDI ins and MIDI outs, you can get a USB MIDI to a USB to MIDI cable, and you plug the MIDI part in on your MPC and the USB part to your computer. You can work it like that, or you can get a MIDI interface. Just whatever you can do to get MIDI from your computer onto your MPC, that's what you want to do. So we got that set up. I have my MIDI cables. This is my ins and outs. I'm sorry, I'm not breaking all this stuff down just for a video. Unhooking and hooking everything back up. But basically, you want to, run your MIDI ins and MIDI outs to your interface or whatever device that you're using to capture MIDI. I don't even think you need to do your ins and outs, but just hook them up both. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. But just make sure your MIDI out is going, MIDI out from the MPC is going to MIDI into your interface, and your MIDI in is going to your MIDI out of the other device. So you basically don't match MIDI out, MIDI in to MIDI in whenever you're hooking your MIDI cables up. If you, there's a bunch of tutorials on how to hook MIDI boards up and stuff like that. If you need a more detailed explanation, I could probably pull out. Matter of fact, let me do that because I have another interface right here. So this is a Sterling audio interface. No, I'm not getting rid of it. I actually like it. And it has, I should really turn up some lights up in here, but it has MIDI ins and MIDI outs. So I would run the MIDI out of this interface to the MIDI in on the MPC, and the MIDI in to the MIDI out of the MPC. And this would go to my computer if I was using this interface, but I'm using my PreSonus. Can't really see. I'm using my PreSonus interface to do this. So, all right, let's get to the point. So you got your interface hooked up. You got this program called Plugin Buddy, installed on your computer. Like I say, there's other VST host app, but a guy in Bolo, the producer's Discord, told me about this one specifically, and I tried it out and it actually works good. So you got all this stuff set up, you got your plugin scan, you ready to go. You're like, okay, I'm good. By now you should know how to set up all your MIDI inside your MPC. You know, that part's easy. So once you got everything set up, you got your MIDI right on your MPC, you want to make sure you select your MIDI output port. Mine is MPC A. That's where I have my MIDI cables right here ran to. And you ready to go. Oh, there's no sound. You don't hear anything. Well, that's because, and if you work with any external boards, you'll know that you got to go over here so you can see when I'm hitting the key. When I'm hitting the key, you can see the meter going off, and it's actually a really hot signal. So I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. But to hear what's coming out of your computer, you just simply want to press this. So you can see as I hit the pads, bam, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And all you gotta do is, after that point, you just work it like you would normally work with using an external board. So I'm gonna just, I don't know, do a little 4-bar loop real quick. Okay, I didn't record that right, but oh well, y'all get the point. I was a little off. I'm gonna turn this down some more. It's coming in really hot. But anyways, so we got our MIDI laid out. So every time I hit play start, it's gonna send MIDI information to the computer, telling it to play these notes. And sorry, it's off, but this is just an example. So you got your MIDI in, cool. So how do I record? Well, on MPC 3.0, you would simply go to new track and open you up an audio track. Make sure your inputs is set right. On the MPC Live, inputs 1 and 2 is the one that's on the back of your MPC. If you have like another audio interface actually connected to your MPC, your inputs may be different. So just make sure that whatever input you got coming out of your computer that's going into your MPC, make sure you got that selected. Mine is 1 and 2. So like I say, when we hit play, it's still gonna play the audio or whatever. And I gotta make sure my stuff's right. All right. So now, once we know, okay, we done laid down our pattern and we like it and we ready to go ahead and record it. I mean, you just simply hit record on the audio track and then hit play start. And you can see, there it is. And I mute the MIDI channel after I'm done recording, so it's only playing the audio. As you can hear, and you see, you don't see it popping up on my screen anymore. And this if I unmute it. There it is. Man, it's simple. It's real simple. It seems like a lot, but once you really get it going, man, it's actually pretty dope. And I'm not a guy who owns any like outboard gear, but like if I did, I would actually run the signal to the outboard gear before it hits my MPC, so you could beef it up, man. So just stuff like that, man. That's just the gist of it. You're basically taking your computer and using it as an external synth. You're basically taking your computer and turning it into one big rolling phantom. But yeah, man, that's it, man. If you got any more questions, just hit me up. You can DM me on Instagram. You know, if I'm not at work, I usually respond. Um, and if you'd like to see anything else, man, just holler at me, man. But that's it, man.